I think I will be able to explain some of the concepts in a good enough way that it will be helpful for other people and teach them something. And number two is because I think it will be helpful for me to explain those concepts in a clear way. Second thing I want to do is make a...
I'm just watching my vlog. It's about 4:20.
link in bio Bolt app. So my own link in bio website. And I'm not talking about the company for legal reasons. I'm talking about the actual link in your bio. Maybe I should call it link in your bio. But everyone says link in bio. I'm really working on...
I want to get some coffee downstairs.
It's like...
Okay, so I just want to say it out loud right now. Like, one of the things I'm realizing would be game changer, I think, would be that timeline. Basically identifying what's going on in the videos at each time step. Because that unlocks like a lot of editing stuff. It unlocks B-roll stuff. It unlocks a lot of... Well, the transcript is also important. So getting the transcript and getting what's going on in the video based on the words is also important. But the scene detection is what I was talking about first. You know what? I wonder if the transcript would actually be bigger impact and easier than scene detection in the actual video. You know what I was just thinking I could do actually? It probably makes a lot of sense to just record on OBS the whole time and then just switch back and forth the scenes. I'm not gonna think too much. Okay, here's the thing about, I'm thinking about if I wanna shorten up the vlogs in some way, even like just split it into a bunch of different videos. And I wasn't thinking that I wanted to like prioritize that because part of the art of it is that it's an expression of me, like an authentic expression. But when someone leaves a comment and says like, you kind of feel bad that they're gonna sit here for 2 hours and it does feel overwhelming. And like now the expression of me has changed a bit because I have empathy for people. And so my expression might not be, you know, a 2-hour video. I'm just joking. I never meant it to be 2 hours. That's just how it worked. Oh wait, we're also gonna look at DaVinci Resolve.
This is how you use AI agents to build a website in less than 15 minutes. Go to...
Dude, that's been 60 minutes. This is ridiculous. Okay, so what I've been doing is kind of my morning routine. And how I do that usually is I like to refocus on my goals and update the status. But how I get to my goals is I look at my relationships. What role do I play in those relationships? Like a son or a brother or a friend. And what are the responsibilities of those roles? And then from the responsibilities, that's where I group to help creative people learn AI. Okay, I think I thought of just a fun experiment that I can run. And it's a good way to illustrate how the art and science will come together. So basically, I'm thinking about starting a study group for people that are interested in AI, particularly creative people, and particularly people who want to help people. But I won't get into the help part yet. I'm thinking about what to call it. So I'm gonna post like probably 2 different variants of this title and then ask people if they're interested. And I'm gonna do an A/B test on the 2 variants of the title so that I can get a better, more rigorous estimation of are people interested in one thing or the other. So the first thing I'm gonna call it is AI for Artists Study. Okay, dude, I really gotta put my schedule together. Oh, I was gonna watch this because it is like end of morning right now. Nice. Okay, so far, the creatives one got a lot and the regular basic one got a lot, about the same. And the AI for Artists only got like a little bit less. I knew that would happen. Question is like, is there enough interest in the AI for startup or AI for Artists group to lean into that? Okay, I want to wrap this up so I can take a break. thing is, there we go. Whew. Cool. All right, so we literally have that file right there. We can view it, supposedly. Hell yeah, that's awesome. All right, cool. Now I guess I'll do a more up close thing since I'm doing stuff on the computer. I do want to kind of record this because what was I about to do? I was about to make an n8n thing. Actually, I'll leave this up here because this is actually part of the workflow OBS. So I'll just leave that up. Should I stream? No, I'm not gonna worry about that. That's another thing to go through. Okay, so, but what I'm gonna do is, hey Google, set a timer for 30 minutes.
Sure, 30 minutes.
Okay, I think I need to be done doing the n8n thing, even though I really wanna keep doing stuff on it, but if I don't get started on cutting that vlog down now, not gonna make it. So I'm glad I got the Python stuff working in there though. Sick! Got a little API for myself. All right, I wanna start making overnight oats again. Those are so good. Now that I have the videos from OBS into n8n locally, I can start basically just getting the transcript from the videos, and that already is a lot of important data because that can be fed in, to anything downstream. And like people on, what's it called? Social media that I've seen, like AI people who are into this stuff, there's basically like a 24/7 voice AI that can already do commands for you. So this is not new, but I don't know how that works. So I don't know where that data is being sent, first of all, if it's like a local API or not. And then also, if it is an agent that doesn't really let you program how it behaves, then I don't really want to use that because I want to understand at a very fine-grained level, like a prompt level, about how stuff is happening and what are the prompts. That's pretty much what I want to understand. Yeah, I think that should be like a important thing when you use a LLM-based agent, is to be able to see the prompts. I think that's actually interesting. But you should actually be able to test the impact of that stuff on other metrics other than just being able to see the prompts. It's like the system as a whole is what needs to be tested. Stop. And so you can do that at each individual prompt level. You're basically A/B testing each function call in some sense, or the ability to compare it to something else. Okay, it is exported and now I can watch it. Guys, so I got some stuff done, but I ran out of first my mic wasn't working and then my camera ran out of battery and I was just in the zone, so I just kept going. But pretty much what I did was basically set up a thing so you can run all the Python stuff from n8n. But you have to do it from an HTTP request thing, a node, and that will make an HTTP request to this Boost n8n fast API server, pretty much, which is also running in Docker. And yeah, so you can run this and that should be running, so I should be able to do this. Yeah, so this divides two numbers or whatever. So it does it from here and it gets executed in this server over here, so I'm gonna write all of my Python functions over here in cursor, and I'm gonna call them from n8n, which I had a feeling I might have to do that, but that's okay. That's cool anyways, because then you can basically make it really easy to deploy those to actual cloud functions if you want, because then they're, compartmentalized and not written in n8n nodes. So I get that. But yeah, I'm gonna make some lunch because it's like 4 o'clock and I just really wanted to get that stuff done. So I wanted to get the Python thing running because I didn't know that n8n was so terrible with Python. Dude, if I would have known that, that's how my app is better in one way. And I made that choice because I was like, I want to be able to run any type of Python. So that forced me to not be able to ship it to other people because I didn't want them to be able, users to be able to run any Python. But for me, I was like, okay, I have to do this. So my version, you can run any Python, but.
On the back of the trade deal announcement, shares in Toyota jumping almost 14%,
Wow.
and Mazda rallying 17%. The deals also reviving hope for a European Union trade deal, with some announcing negotiators are arriving today, boosting stock futures across the region. Meanwhile, Asian markets are responding positively to news that US and Chinese officials will meet in.
Obviously it takes resources and it has to be realistic, but because you can learn almost anything that's been done at least and is, is actually realistic, you can learn that stuff, and there's not much that, you just have way more opportunity to learn that kind of stuff. Why am I saying this? Because I think that people don't realize how outsized the impact of that is and how much is actually possible. And maybe not possible today, right? But if agents get better, pretty much is what I'm saying. And they are getting better. That's why I think it's important that we train them in the right way. Okay, this is gonna take 16 minutes to transfer. That's why I'm really happy I'm doing it on OBS right now. So plan is to use OBS to record instead of my it'll probably be like designer or creator or something like that, digital creator. But what they will be making is apps. And so I think, by the way, a little bit of evidence for this is the popularity of Bolt and Lovable in the design community. And I think a lot of those designers have influence on younger professionals, younger adults, and those people will grow into becoming vibe coders pretty much. But I think those design tech influencers will kind of start that. I know you guys know who I'm talking about. It's like tech, if you watch my channel, you probably know other tech influencers. So I think that tech influencers will kind of start this trend towards everyone coding. Because, like I said before, some of the best AI tools right now are ones for coding, like coding assistants. And that is one of the most productive things you can do. But how long will that be? Who knows? What is coding anymore? Yeah. So that's what I think. But going back to my thought on that and how it should come about, or a good way that it could come about, is the idea that people should own the software that they build. It shouldn't be I could imagine a big platform coming out with this consumer facing coding assistant pretty much, where you make UIs and stuff. And then that platform owns all the software that individual builds, that consumer, that end user builds. So in that way, that platform is, again, extracting value from the individuals. And that's just feeding into the model that lets them do that stuff, the coding assistant, and making it better for them, but they're not capturing the value from that. The model is, or the company is capturing that value. So if people realize this value transfer and how it's going, and what they can do, what people are capable of, I think people can opt into building stuff and owning the stuff that they create. That's what I'm trying to say. I think the challenge is building a community that is basically more attractive to mainstream to do on your own and independently and under your own kind of control of the software and the impact of it. But as a community, without the distribution of those more centralized platforms, and I don't want to necessarily say it's the centralized control of the platform, centrally controlled platforms, as opposed to a more distributed control system like IPFS or many crypto projects or Open Data Institute, Solid by Tim Berners-Lee, or just all the privacy preserving analytics techniques and things like that, and trusted execution environments, all those things, all these tools that are available to us, but just takes a little bit more work to do those things. I think a lot of people are not doing the work for actual people. There's a lot of kind of work going on, but I don't think we've figured out a way to get people to realize why this is important. But it's time to look at those tools and see all the problems and how stuff is working now, and kind of leaning into those tools and putting in a little bit more work that other people won't do to build a future where the centralized risks aren't so prevalent. And so, that's my thoughts. All right, that is the art of the day. That is the monologue. No, I'm joking. I don't know. Man. Okay, I gotta remember to keep it short. But that, I think, was like something to talk about today. So that's done uploading. Man, I wish someone would put in a goal. Appreciate them just filling out their email though. That's cool. And it's interesting to know that they don't have any specific goal or expectation. Hopefully that is actually going through and working. The expectations. Yeah, it's not saving. All right, let's just do that. Okay, no, let's fix that. Okay, I just checked the. Even Sam Altman is like obsessed with lists, and Mark Zuckerberg obviously gets the meta, like kind of theory of building stuff, and I think everyone's building the same thing. We're all just building agents, dude. Okay, yeah. So there's this idea that everything is an agent. And just look to the NVIDIA CEO for more info on that. But what it means to me, and I agree with, you can look at that, the world as everything is an agent, because you can pretty much, an agent is just a model that represents something, a concept, a process, a thing, anything. Like I was talking about in the last vlog. But why was I saying that? Oh yeah, because I think we're all building the same thing. We're all just building agents for to represent different stuff. And that's kind of what we've been doing with software, except we've been writing the software ourselves. But yeah, now it's getting written by agents. That's why coding agents are some of the most productive agents. And also, I think that mental health stuff is really popular. And I don't want to call that like an agent for programming a person, but you're basically prompting the algorithm to send you stuff by engaging with it. And so I don't want to say that it's programming people, but it is having an impact on people, because just by learning information, asking a question to the chatbot, whatever, you are getting back the information. And if it's good information, it should change your brain, because you should learn from it. That's what learning is. It's changing your brain. And so if we look at it like that, then I think we have a little bit more agency, or just at least knowing the idea is kind of like the source code. That's how I feel like stuff actually is. It's like ideas are the initial source code, and when we share ideas, we're actually sharing like the source of the source code. And those, that's information. And so like I was talking about yesterday, information is the thing that we need to figure out how to work together to pass around, so that we get the best information for us and where we want to be with everything. All right, I'm eating banana peppers. Not banana peppers. Butternut squash. Okay, that's transcribed. Let me cut that one down. Oh, dude. Is it because OBS is open? That's why it doesn't work. I hate that. That's so stupid. It means I gotta export it. Which is, I guess it's not an A/B test. That might be a multivariate test. Maybe I should learn that, but I definitely will over time since I'm doing it. So it doesn't really give me a difference between two, I don't think, like an A/B test would. I could be wrong though. But I don't really care. Like, I just wanted to test those three things. But based on those, what was what did those people in those groups, what did they expect or want to learn from the group, get from the group? And so that way I could map, what they saw, what kind of group they're signing up for actually, to what they want to learn. But the real thing I wanted to test was really just the signups for each of the different types of groups and how I worded them. So yeah, but I'm not gonna worry about it too much. Okay, so I want to tell you guys about this thing called the Open Data Institute. It's basically an organization that cares about individuals owning their data and building that infrastructure in public on an open protocol, sort of like the internet itself. So this was a group that was created by Tim Berners-Lee, or he was one of the main people, at least. I can't remember. And it's run by a kind of parent organization. Oh, no, sorry. This is not. Open Data Institute is the parent organization. Solid is the protocol that I'm talking about that was built by Tim Berners-Lee. And the Open Data Institute recently became the parent organization of that. So I don't know how much Tim Berners-Lee is involved anymore. I think he was the founder in some way, but yeah. Anyways, the Open Data Institute has an open role, and one of the roles is like community spokesperson, basically. I can't remember what the exact title is, but community builder. And I don't know, I didn't look for, I assume that it's a full-time role or something like that, but it would be cool to fill that role but not have to be an employee there for me. So I don't know if it would be like considered contract work or what, but basically like I want it to be as little contract as possible. I want it to be like a one-time fee kind of thing, but consistent over time, so that way I have ultimate flexibility and it's not like I'm working for him. It's like we're working together as two business entities. So, and I can talk about this stuff, which is really cool actually, because it is open. And most of the time I don't go into the details of what I'm working on because I don't want to risk like revealing too much about those companies, etc.